You've finally done it. You've got a savings account you are genuinely proud of. Maybe it's 20 grand, maybe it's 50 grand. You built it one paycheck at a time, and it's sitting there in your bank like a trophy. It feels responsible. It feels safe. It's yours. Now, I want you to meet Sarah. Sarah works at the exact same company as you. She has the exact same job title, makes the same $60,000 a year salary, and lives in a nearly identical apartment down the street. She started saving the exact same month you did, 10 years ago. But here is the catch. While your account is sitting at a very respectable $50,000, Sarah's net worth just crossed $350,000. She didn't get an inheritance, she didn't get a secret promotion, she didn't win the lottery or pick the next Apple in the stock market. She did exactly one thing differently on one specific Tuesday afternoon a decade ago. And it's the exact uncomfortable truth that most of us are never taught in school. Saving money isn't the finish line, it's the on-ramp, and almost nobody is taught how to merge onto the highway. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how the wealthy turn their savings into actual generational wealth, step by step. Hit the like button and let's get into it.
The trap of safe cash. Let's start with the thing that nobody wants to hear, especially if you've worked hard to build up your savings. Saving money on its own is a guaranteed way to get poor, not broke. Just quietly, politely poor year after year in a way you don't even notice until the damage is already done. Here is the math. $1 you saved back in the year 2000 buys you about 50 cents worth of actual stuff today. Half of its purchasing power evaporated. Nobody stole it, you didn't spend it, but the price of groceries, housing, and gas climbed every single year, while your dollar just sat there in a vault, entirely still. That is inflation. It's the silent tax that nobody votes for, but everybody pays. And cash is the one asset mathematically guaranteed to lose to it. Now, I know what you're thinking, but my high-yield savings account is paying me 4% or 5% right now. And you're right, that's great. But the problem is, inflation has been hovering right around that exact same number. So on a good day, your money is just treading water. On a normal day, you're slowly sinking. Your money is technically employed, but it's showing up to work, sleeping at his desk, and expecting a promotion. The wealthy figured this out generations ago. Their solution wasn't to save harder. Their solution was to stop letting their money sit still. The waiting room. To the wealthy, a bank account isn't a destination, it's a waiting room. Every dollar that lands in checking has a specific job, and somewhere else it needs to be. Let's look at the data, because the contrast is genuinely shocking. When you break down where the average American keeps their wealth, two things take up the whole pie: their house and their car, real estate, and a depreciating piece of metal. Now look at the top 1%. Their wealth is in entirely different vehicles: business ownership, stocks, index funds, cash-flowing real estate. Do you know how much of their net worth the wealthiest households keep in cash? About 2%. 2%. Everything else is out in the world, working. The top 10% of American households own roughly 90% of all the stock in the stock market. So when you turn on the news and hear that the S&P 500 hit a record high, understand who is actually catching that money. It's not landing evenly. It's raining on the people who own the assets. If you want to build wealth, you have to transition from a consumer and a saver into an owner. And to do that, you need a system. The rich have a very specific sequence for what happens to a dollar after it's earned. Most people just spend what they spend, and whatever's left over piles up in a checking account like unwashed laundry. Let's change that right now. Here is the exact step-by-step sequence. The line. Step 1 is establishing the line. This is the most important boundary in your financial life. What is the line? It's your emergency fund. The golden rule is 3 to 6 months of living expenses, not your salary, your expenses. This money is kept in cash in a high-yield savings account. Its job is not to make you rich. Its job is to be the shock absorber so that a blown transmission, a medical bill, or a layoff doesn't force you into credit card debt. But here is where average savers and wealthy investors split. Most people treat that 3 to 6 month number as a lifelong savings goal. They hit it, and then they just keep piling more cash on top of it. The wealthy treat it as a strict border. Everything up to that line stays in cash because its job is safety, but everything past that line is immediately pushed over the edge into investments because its job is growth. The moment they hit their number, the overflow is deployed automatically. That was Sarah's big move 10 years ago. Once she had her safety net, she stopped hoarding cash. She turned her overflow from a stagnant puddle into a flowing river. The order of operations. Okay, so you push the money over the edge, but where does it actually go? This brings us to step 2, the order of operations, because not all investment dollars are created equal. Number 1, the employer match. If you have a 401k or a workplace retirement plan and your employer offers to match your contributions, say up to 5%, that is the first place your money goes. A match is not a perk, it is a coupon for free 100% guaranteed money. If you put in $1 and they give you $1, you just made a 100% return before the market even opens. Turning that down is literally leaving part of your salary on the table. Number 2, toxic debt. Next, you destroy high-interest debt. I'm talking about credit cards charging you 20% or 25% interest. There is no investment on earth that will reliably pay you 25% a year. Paying off a credit card is a guaranteed, risk-free 25% return on your money. Wipe it out. Number 3, tax-advantaged accounts. Next, you look for accounts the government loves. Roth IRAs, where your money grows tax-free forever. Or the ultimate stealth wealth account, the HSA, Health Savings Account. If you qualify, money goes in tax-free, grows tax-free, and comes out tax-free for medical expenses. It's the only triple tax-advantaged account in the system. The rich max these out immediately. Number 5, the power of automation. Now, if that sequence sounds like a lot of work to manage every single month, I have great news. You shouldn't be managing it at all. Step 3 is automation, and it is quietly the most powerful psychological trick in finance. Here's the proof. When companies make employees opt in to a retirement plan, meaning you have to fill out a form and actively choose to save, about 64% of people do it. But when companies automatically enroll employees and make them opt out, participation skyrockets to 94%. Same people, same paychecks. The only difference is the default behavior. Willpower is a finite resource. If you wait until the end of the month to invest whatever is left over, there will never be anything left over. Life will always find a way to spend it. So you automate it. You set up the transfer so the money moves from your checking account to your brokerage account 2 days after you get paid. Your brain never even sees the money. You automate the discipline, and for the first time in your life, your own laziness actually starts making you rich. Number 6, what to buy and what to avoid. Step 4, the money has automatically moved to your investment account. What does it actually buy? This is where people get paralyzed. They think investing means sitting in front of 6 monitors, reading stock charts and trying to pick the next Amazon. It doesn't. For 99% of people, investing means buying one very boring thing, a low-cost, broad-market index fund. Think the S&P 500. Instead of trying to find the needle in the haystack, an index fund just buys the whole haystack. You are buying a tiny slice of the 500 largest, most profitable companies in America, all at once. You are betting that over the long term, the economy will keep growing, and historically, it always has. But watch out for the trap. Management fees. If you hire a fancy mutual fund manager who charges you a 1% fee every year, that sounds tiny, right? It's just 1%. Over 30 years, that 1% fee will eat roughly a third of your total potential returns. A $10,000 investment could lose $40,000 in future growth just to pay a guy in a suit who statistically won't even beat the basic index fund anyway. Buy the cheap index, keep your own money. Conclusion: the reality of the surplus. The math behind compounding is basically magic. If you invest just $500 a month at a 7% return, in 30 years, you have over $600,000. In 40 years, it's $1.2 million. It starts slow and then bends upward violently. The cost of waiting 10 years isn't just missed deposits, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars in future money that never gets born. But here is the honest truth that most finance videos skip. You cannot invest a surplus that you do not have. Right now, more than half of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. If your money runs out before the month does, telling you to just automate your investments is insulting. The wealthy have two advantages. One is a surplus of capital. That is a systemic structural advantage. But the second advantage is the system. The line, the sequence, the automation, the index funds, and the patience. That system isn't locked behind a paywall. It is just information. And now you have it. If you have even a tiny surplus, $20 a week, $50 a month, this system will change your life. Your job now is to cross the line. If you got value out of this video, hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment below on what step you are on right now. As always, keep building, and I'll see you in the next one.